These two chapters are a dedicated, detailed autopsy of the fallen system. After the bowls have dissolved the internal structures, Revelation now turns to examine the externalized systemic entity that was built from those structures, Babylon. This is the psychological and spiritual equivalent of a coroner's report, analyzing the cause of death of your old world. This chapter reveals the inner workings and ultimate source of the external system. The vision of the harlot, 17:1-6. An angel shows John a woman sitting on a scarlet beast, the beast from the sea, drunk on the blood of saints. She is Babylon the Great, mother of prostitutes and of earth's abominations. She is not a corruption. She is the source matrix of all corruption. Arrayed in purple and scarlet, adorned with gold, jewels, and pearls, she is glamorous, wealthy, and appeals to the desire for significance and beauty, holding a golden cup full of abominations and impurities of her fornication. Written on her forehead, mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of prostitutes and abominations of the earth. The angel's interpretation, 17:7-18. The angel decodes the vision. The woman sits on 7 mountains, often linked to Rome, but esoterically, the 7 chakra centers of collective humanity, and on many waters, the collective consciousness, peoples and multitudes and nations and languages. The woman is the great city that has dominion over the kings of the earth. She is the archetype of centralized, worldly, spiritual authority that claims to mediate between humanity and the divine. She is the institutionalized inversion of the divine feminine. Instead of the soul, the woman of chapter 12, giving birth to the divine within, the child, this harlot gives birth to dependency and external worship. The beast. She sits on the scarlet beast, the beast from the sea, the intellectual system. This reveals the symbiotic relationship. The external religious power system, harlot, provides the emotional justification and moral authority for the worldly power structure, beast. The beast gives the harlot its power and platform. Together, they form the complete mind-body of collective separation. The 10 horns will hate the prostitute and burn her with fire. This is the critical revelation. The very egoic powers, king's horns, that once served the system will ultimately turn and destroy it. In your inner process, this means the faculties you once used to serve external idols, your intellect to argue dogma, your will to pursue status, will, upon awakening, be the very forces that dismantle your belief in those idols. You will use your mind to see through the doctrine and your will to walk away from the empty pursuit. The system is suicidal. It contains the seeds of its own destruction. Inner event and somatic correlation. This chapter triggers the realization of your own complicitness. You see clearly how you have fornicated with external systems, how you gave your inner authority, the kings of the earth, to ideologies, institutions, and gurus for the promise of security, identity, and belonging, the gold and jewels. This can bring a wave of shame and anger, but also profound clarity. It may feel like a cognitive unplugging, a literal shift in perception where the advertising, rhetoric, and spiritual trappings of the world suddenly look garish and empty. If chapter 17 was the diagnosis, chapter 18 is the execution and the lament. It describes not a violent attack from God, but the system's collapse once the energy that sustained it is withdrawn. The announcement of fall, 18:1-3. An angel announces with great authority, fallen is Babylon the Great. It has become a dwelling place for demons, a haunt for unclean spirits. Why? Because all nations have drunk the wine of the passion of her immorality, and the kings of the earth have committed immorality with her, and the merchants of the earth have grown rich from the power of her luxurious living. The system fed on the libidinal and spiritual energy, the wine of passion of humanity. The command, "Come out of her, my people." 18:4-5. A voice from heaven issues the most practical instruction in the entire book. Come out of her, my people, lest you take part in her sins, lest you share in her plagues. This is not a command to physically move cities or leave a religion. It is the command for psychic and energetic disidentification. It means stop feeding her, stop believing her narratives, stop seeking salvation in her markets, stop giving your attention, your modern currency, to her dramas. Withdraw your consciousness from the shared hallucination. The Laments of the Kings, Merchants, and Mariners, 18:9-19. The rest of the chapter is a triple lament from those who were enmeshed in the system's economy. 1. The kings of the earth, the ruling faculties within you. They weep because the system that gave them a role and identity is gone. Alas, alas, you great city, for in a single hour your judgment has come. Your inner king that loved being a devout believer, a successful professional, or a righteous activist mourns the loss of that defining drama. 2. The merchants of the earth, the trading faculties. They weep because no one buys their cargo anymore. This is the most revealing list, 18:12-13. Gold, silver, jewels, pearls, spiritual status, value. Fine linen, purple, silk, scarlet, identity, righteousness. Scented wood, ivory, costly wood, bronze, iron, marble, durable structures of belief. Cinnamon, spice, incense, myrrh, frankincense, emotional and ritual experiences. Wine, oil, fine flour, wheat, nourishment and intoxication. Cattle, sheep, horses, chariots, energy and mobility. And slaves, that is, human souls. This is the complete inventory of the spiritual and psychological marketplace. It is everything sold to you to fill the inner void. The merchants are the parts of you and the external world that trade in these commodities. Their grief is your realization that these things no longer hold any value for your soul. 3. The mariners and all who work the sea, the navigators. They weep because the entire mode of transit and trade is gone. All who had ships at sea grew rich by her wealth. The ships are the vehicles you use to navigate the world of Babylon. Your career path, your social circle, your spiritual practice is a means to an end. The harbor is destroyed. The finality, 18:21-24. A mighty angel throws a millstone into the sea, declaring, "So will Babylon, the great city, be thrown down with violence and will be found no more." The city of external noise, music of harpists, musicians, flutists, trumpeters, is silenced. The city of external craft, craftsmen of any craft, is gone. And the city of external sustenance and the sound of the millstone is stilled. The city of false light, the lamp, is extinguished. The city of false union, the voice of bridegroom and bride, is mute. Why? For your merchants were the great ones of the earth, and all nations were deceived by your sorcery. And in her was found the blood of prophets and of saints, and of all who have been slain on earth. The system's crime is sorcery, the enchanting deception that turns attention outward. Its violence is the blood of prophets and saints, the murder of your own inner truth and innocence every time you silenced it to conform. The inner event and the spiral's final turn. The fall of Babylon is the direct, inevitable result of the bowls. Once the internal purification is complete, the external projection loses its anchor. The come out command is the active, conscious choice that accelerates the collapse. This chapter is experienced as a profound, irreversible disenchantment with the world, followed not by nihilism, but by immense peace and a quiet, internal grounding. You are no longer a participant in the psychic economy. You have repatriated your soul. This is the moment, the spiral, having dissolved everything at the center, stops spinning. The centrifugal force that was throwing your energy outward into Babylon ceases. The energy settles. The noise fades. You are now in the silent, cleared space where the only sound is the voice from the throne saying, "Behold, I make all things new." The stage is set. The new Jerusalem can now descend because there is finally an empty, clean, and willing space for it to land within you.